Toastmasters friends, I don't think I'll be able to talk like this all day, so I'm just going to put this on because I would like to sell you, not this nose because it's already been on my nose, but one just like it. When I was a child, I watched the news and I was so disturbed a lot of the times by what I saw. Now the news today is so graphic and so full of negative things, I don't even watch it. I just get the traffic report to make sure I can make it to work on the right route. So, when I was a child, I remember thinking many times, I wish I had a speaker, a microphone, with a speaker to the world, so that I could just talk to them and say, somewhat what Heather was talking about. Can't we just all get along? Can't we just love each other? Can't we just give of ourselves to help another person? When I was young, I took in every stray that existed. Stray dogs, stray cats, even when my parents didn't want them there, they still ended up in the house. Stray friends, of course with the permission of their parents when they were struggling, having a little trouble. They'd come stay at my house for a week. My attitudes towards helping just kind of sparked, I guess I was just born with that. But I've also been on the receiving end of help. When I was the stepmother or bonus mom to my adopted son, Chad, there are many who donated to the Hunter Syndrome Foundation, of which he suffered that disease. This was a terminal disease. He was only supposed to live 9 or 10 years. But through donations to the fund, my ex-husband was able to take Chad every year to South Dakota, or somewhere in the South. I can't remember which state actually now. South Carolina, that's it. And they would study Chad. They'd take blood, they'd do all these things. And they would be able to pool that information from not only Chad but others into a pool to help create a cure for Hunter syndrome. Chad ultimately became the recipient of infusions of a drug called Elaprase as a result of these donations and this research that was all funded by donations. By the time they developed Elaprase, it was too late for Chad. He did have infusions for the last year and a half of his life, but he was older. He lived twice his age, and I think that was due to the love of our combined family. But another event where we've been on the recipient end of people donating and helping is through the American Cancer Society. My husband, as you know, has leukemia, and he's had it for 16 years now, and he's had 4 severe rounds of chemotherapy during those 15 years. One infusion, $14,000. Now, if that were to be billed to my insurance, I still have to come up with my deductible, right, $3,000. But there's no way we could even handle that. And he had 10 of them every time he had chemo. How grateful am I for those who just reached in and took $5, $10, whatever, and just donated to that worthy cause. So when I was thinking about what product could I sell, this is rattling, I had no idea what I was going to sell. Like tires, I'm driving around the streets of Phoenix, on the way home, I'm looking at all these things. Everybody's got one. But how many of you have one of these? A red nose? Nobody. I have a great selling opportunity here. So, who wants to buy a red nose? Well, you may not know yet because I haven't told you about it. If I can click to the right direction. This guy bought a red nose, and he looks happy. So I think that if you buy a red nose, you could very well be happy too. So what is Red Nose Day? Did any of you last year in Walgreens see the red noses and kind of go, oh, there's some joke thing going on? I didn't look into it at all. I had no idea what was Red Nose Day. Well, Red Nose Day is a campaign that started in the U.S. to help children and to have fun, to raise donations to help children throughout the world. And the benefits, 100% of the benefits of the purchases of Red Nose Red Noses or other products from Red Nose Day go 100% to serve children in the U.S. and 15 other third world countries in the world. So how did this start? Let's say this one. Okay, so missed two. The big idea came, and some of you may not have been alive yet in the 1980s. Who was alive in 1985? Okay, most of us, okay. I'm giving y'all credit, y'all look young. So it started with the AIDS awareness and the big rock and roll thing, telethon, to raise money for AIDS, particularly for the South African children who were being born with AIDS. But they felt that that was not doing enough and that they needed to do more. So as a result, they created the Comic Relief Inc. Now be careful when you're out there researching Comic Relief, because there's a mock one out there that is not associated. But you'll know right away if it's not the right one. These three people, and I don't know them personally, Richard Curtis, Jane Tucson, and some of their friends felt that they needed to do more. And on Christmas Day, they were in the Sudan, and they broadcast their first thoughts about raising money for, at that time it was just 2 charities. The first official Red Nose Day was on February 8th in 1988, and this same group, they were in Ethiopia, and over 150 celebrities and comedians participated in a live broadcast that reached, I think, 30 million people on the BBC. This has been going on since 1988. The U.S. came on board quite a bit later. Sorry, I'm like horrible with this. Give me a sec. Okay. So in its first year last year, when the Red Noses popped out in Walgreens, and you couldn't see them anywhere else because Walgreens is the #1 distributor of it, or you can buy them directly online. They raised $23 million in their first, it wasn't really a telethon, it was just a big party event on television with performers, comedians. The idea was to bring fun. And now how it's spreading is they want people to create events in their own lives. Schools, they're selling boxes of Red Noses at $360 in a box because schools are doing fundraisers for these. And again, all of these funds in America stayed in the 50 states, half of it, and the other half went to 15 other countries. Okay, I got this. All right, so Comic Relief became the main organizer of the Red Nose Day. And they wanted to stop poverty, create education, and provide food, water, sanitation to people who don't even have the infrastructure to do it. And they wanted to do it through laughter and joy and comic relief, as they call it. So is it making a difference? Well, yes. Globally, in 25 years, over $1 billion has been raised for what is now 11 charities. And half of it, like I said, this is kind of redundant. The grant money is being used to keep kids safe, healthy, and educated. There's nothing more important for our children than that. So here's some of the charities. I'll just go through them quickly. I will email you the PowerPoint afterwards so you can read more about them. Some of them you may identify with already. This is one of my favorites. My kids all went to the Boys and Girls Club, played football and softball when they were little kids. Save the Children is one that's very common, popular. Feeding America, I think we all have heard about. Raza is pretty popular. Oh, Gavi is so important because there's so many of the third world countries that are not vaccinated. And so things like measles and polio and things like that, which we were immunized back in the 60s against and never get, these children are still suffering and dying by the hundreds of thousands in these countries. And then these are the last couple. The Covenant House provides care for more than 51,000 homeless youth just in this country. I can't imagine that there's that many. So here's just the map to show you basically where the funds are going. You can't read this right here, but some of the countries are Bhutan, Bolivia, Brazil, Cambodia, El Salvador, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, Kenya, Malawi, don't know, Nepal, Peru, Grenada, and Uganda are some of the countries that this is being shared. And it's going to increase as the funds increase, and they can implement. And they have to get government approvals to go in these countries and actually do this stuff. So it's not just getting the money, it's getting the permissions. So how is it helping? Is it changing lives? It is. It's keeping kids safe. And in our country, we have a very good infrastructure of police and protection for children, education on that. In a lot of countries, there's none. Children are sold as slaves, sold into prostitution, things like that. So this is helping in those countries. They're creating food kits that are giving the basic nutrients that go to help children live past the age of 2 years old, which is a common mortality rate in some of these countries. And then they're educating them. There's been many, you've seen like Oprah has started her school. There's hundreds of these types of schools throughout these countries that are being set up as a result of the Red Nose campaign. So, Red Nose is coming again this year. It was such a success. And on Thursday, I want you to mark your calendars, May 26th is the date that it's going to be televised on NBC. So, I want you to get ready to plan for your Red Nose event, and here's how you can do it. You can buy some of these products. You probably already buy. Nice is a brand at Walgreens. Almost everything I buy is Nice. And you have to have a lot of red noses because you're going to give them out to everybody you invite to your party that night. Now you can have a party before then and fundraise, charge people $5 at the door, come on in, and then you can donate online. Here's some of the products you can purchase. It's fun. I'm adorning some of the beautiful wares. Need to get a mug. That big nose is for your car, so you can go around town and let everybody know you're participating in this worthwhile charity. The bow tie, I think, can be appreciated by the men. And who doesn't want a red sequin fedora? So what do you say? You want to buy a red nose? Raise your hand if you have any questions. Raise your hand if you want to buy a red nose.
How much are they?
Good question. I'm glad you asked. Today and today only, I am giving out red noses along with a free DVD rental to every one of you, and all that you have to pay is a random act of kindness to someone, and I'm putting it all in the honor system. Thank you.